Hey guys, how are you? I hope everybody's doing well. Today I had a crazy day. My title of today will be, how do you know that a man is in love with you? I've been dating for now 6 months. I've met some wonderful people, wonderful men. And I've met some not so wonderful, I'm a pretty good judge of character, but you come across some really strange people when you're dating. And I had asked some of my followers, some of you guys, if you wanted to hear about some of my adventures. So I was thinking, why don't I just share? So I was just wanting to talk about my encounters and my relationships and what brought me to where I am today. And I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about love and how love works. And I've been fairly lucky. I've had friends that have been single for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and they still can't meet the one. I was lucky to meet someone wonderful at the time. I thought he was. I was a little blinded by the red flags, and my relationship lasted almost 15 years. We had 3 beautiful kids together, and as much as I was deeply in love and invested so much into him, I also let him go because of how deceiving he was. Now, if I had followed my own principles and values, I wouldn't have gotten involved with him to begin with. There was a lot of red flags, but I chose to ignore them because I was blinded by love. Now that I'm older, I could see men clearly. I could see and I could understand a little more what my thought process is, and I understand more what I want. And I wanted to guide you guys. And because I've been lucky, like I said, I'm now kind of actively dating someone that I'm really happy with. And it took a little bit of time because I had to work on myself first, and I needed time to reflect and love myself again, because when someone cheats on you, it gives you, it makes you think, like, is it me? What did I do? Was I not a good wife? And it's very easy for someone else to blame you for the situation, and you start doubting yourself, and you kind of low self-esteem can come from that. And I've never had low self-esteem. I know my worth, and I had to regain that, and it took me a little bit of time and a little bit of work on myself, but it helped. That time away from everyone and him helped kind of restructure who I was. And so anyhow, I wanted to also help out those that are looking for love and hoping to find Mr. Right and struggling in finding him, because I think a lot of people settle. They see the red flags. They think they're in love. They think he is in love. And then what they do is they put the blinders on and they stay with this person. They know it's wrong for them. They see all the flags along the way, but they choose not to be alone. Now, I am not afraid to be single. I'm not afraid to be alone. I don't mind if I'm alone for the rest of my life. My priority are my kids. They've always been my priority. And so when you prioritize what's important, which in this case is my daughters, the right person will come along. I'm not just settling. And it's important to know that I have daughters. I mean, I have to make the right choices, because the man that's going to be in my life will be their stepfather. So I need to make the right choices for me and for them. And I want to make sure he's not abusive. I need to make sure he's got his crap together. I want to make sure he's got a great job. He's stable. There's a lot of things that I look at before I get involved, because I know that he's going to be a father figure, and a good one at that, because I don't want them to be disappointed twice in a row. When I get married for life. If we have issues, we work together. Apparently that wasn't the way that my spouse thought. And that's fine. It is his business. He's happy in his own mess. But I need to pick up the pieces, and I need to be the strong role model at this point, since they spent most of their time with me. And so I need to teach them how to be strong, and I need to teach them that. So I wanted to let you guys know that there are 3 things that will let you know if this is the right man for you. The first one is, when you meet a man, whether you meet him online or in person, he tries to push the relationship forward. So what I mean by that is, if you talk to him online, and you talk to him, today and tomorrow, and by the end of the week, he still hasn't asked you out, he still doesn't look forward to seeing you, that is a red flag, you guys. A man that is excited and is into you, he wants to take that texting relationship or messaging relationship to a phone conversation or even a Skype or WhatsApp conversation. And from there, he wants to see you. He wants to meet you. He doesn't want to let you go because he thinks you might be the one. So if your man is into you, he will definitely make that second step to see you. So the first step is you guys chatting. Second step is him just jump. So he will be jumping at the opportunity to meet you and see you and see what you're all about. So that's the exciting part, because you guys can exchange, texts. And as you exchange texts, you'll see that he will be questioning you and ask you questions and see if you guys are a good fit before you move on to the physical part where you can see each other. Now, if a man starts texting you and keeps texting you, doesn't want to, see you on WhatsApp or FaceTime, and definitely kind of weeks go by and he's still texting you, that is a red flag, ladies. It is a red flag. You walk away from that. You do not stay thinking, well, he says the right things and he's really kind. I think he's perfect and I'm just going to give him time. Men do not need time. If they like you, they will chase you. Just like in a relationship, you're in a marriage for 10, 15 years. If things don't go well and he really loves you, he'll camp in front of your door if he needs to make things right, because he loves you and he doesn't want to let go of his relationship, of his children, of his beautiful wife, and he would work at it because either he knows he screwed up and he wants you back, and he just, wants to make things right. That's a man that really loves you. A man that doesn't care, doesn't love you, he just walks away easily because that's what they do. They're cowards. They're just, the thing is, if they are like that at the beginning of a relationship, they don't fight for you. They won't fight for you at the end of the relationship. They show their true colors at the beginning of the relationship, because they are who they are. Now, will they change along the way? They may change, but it will end up, your relationship will end the same way it started. So if the guy that you're meeting is a liar, if the guy that you're meeting is insecure, if the guy that you're meeting is just can't commit, he will not get better. He is who he is, and you could see it at the very beginning. Now, it will end the same way as it started. So if you see the red flags at the beginning, walk away. Don't invest yourself, because you're fooling yourself thinking that he will not change. So remember that, you guys. So if he doesn't make the first move to see you and meet with you physically, talk to you, you know that he is not into you as much as you think he may be. They might also even be married or engaged or with someone, or does not have as much interest in you as you may think. All right, so that's the first one. Now, second sign to know that he's really into you and this is the guy for you, he wants to be close to you. He wants to see you. He wants to meet you. He is taking charge. He's going to find a place for you guys to meet. He's going to be very flexible and he's going to make it happen. He's going to make time for you. Whether he's working or not, he will drop everything for you to meet you because he's interested. Remember, when a man is interested, he likes to chase. A man chases, just like an animal. And when there's a chase, they love the chase. This is why men cheat, because there's a chase. It's a new, it's a new prey. It's fun. It's exciting. Once he owns you and he has you, it is game over. Now, he does not need to work at it any longer, and he will find his next prey. Now, within a month, 2 months, a year, 10 years, 15 years, if a man is a man, okay? And he will try to find that prey again and again for that excitement if he doesn't have that excitement at home. So, again, he will go out of his way to meet with you and be close, whether it's physical, whether it's verbal. He will find a way to find you. And I'll give you an example. I met someone online. Wonderful guy. We had the greatest conversation, and literally within our second conversation, he was FaceTiming me, and I'm like, oh my God, already? And we were already like face to face, and he was just the most kindest, most attractive man I had ever met. And I was not expecting that. I was just thinking, this is just going to be a conversation, and who knows where that's going to go, because it is a long distance relationship. And so we started developing feelings over a live chat, because it's hard to do, online. And then once that started, it was just a beautiful thing. Now, within our, third or fourth conversation, we knew there was a huge connection. And even though distance was between us, we decided that it was time for us to meet. And, I didn't even have to say anything, and his tickets was already purchased, and he was ready to come and see me. Now you can tell that he has taken all the necessary step to get to me and show me he's interested. I didn't have to do anything or say anything. We had this connection. He felt it, I felt it, and he couldn't deny it. And he just jumped at the opportunity to meet me, which showed me his interest. So it's really important to kind of read between the lines. And if you see a man that takes his feelings to the next level, and his communication with you to want to see you or meet you at a cafe or a restaurant, you know he's interested. Now, once he's taken that step to come and visit, what's important is as you talk to him and get to know him, you want him to be consistent with both what he says and what he does. So if he tells you, hey, I'd love to see you, I'd love to meet you eventually, and then you know that he wants to, but he's just not finding the time, and he's promising you stuff and he's not going to do it, you know that he's not going to keep his word. Okay, so if it starts like that, don't think he'll commit you to you more, or that now that he's in a relationship with you, now whatever he says he'll do, because he won't, because that's just the way he is. So again, he shows his true colors at the beginning of the relationship, and it won't stay that way, and you guys will end up breaking up for the same reason as what you disliked about him at the beginning of the relationship. So again, giving you the example of he came down and totally told me exactly what he was going to do. He said, I'm going to sweep you off your feet. I want to make sure that you are happy. I want to make sure that you're appreciated, something that you were not. You're exactly what I want, and I want to take it slow because you do have children, but I want to prove to them that I could be a great father figure. And he stepped up to the plate every second of every day. And without me saying, I'm talking, flowers and breakfast and, anything he could do to show me that he cared, he did. And now I never asked him that. I just let him be who he is. And he showed me everything that there was about him. He wants to understand. He made me understand that he's financially secured and that's what he can provide. And I just love that about him. And that's something I'm not used to. I've always been deceived, and he's set in his ways. So consistency, very important. If he's consistent with you, he respects you. If he tells you, I'll call you at 5 o'clock, at 5 o'clock comes around and he hasn't even given you a phone call, or just to tell you, hey babe, I'm kind of busy and I'm swamped, I'll call you later. At least he takes the time to look at his watch and he's like, I promised her at 5 and I'll call her back, because you're important. If you're not, he gets lazy because you're not important, and you stick around, so he knows no matter how he treats you, you will be there. And that's not a man you want to invest your time with. So it is very hard nowadays to date. Men are very independent. Men are either going through a divorce or they have been divorced. They've been single for so long, and it's hard to change who they are. And you don't want to change them. You want to appreciate them for who they are. But then they get so used to their alone life that if they have to put together and combine their lives with your life, it starts getting tricky because you're set in your ways and he's set in his ways. So I remember when I started my relationship in my 15-year marriage, it was deception after deception. He was deceiving his girlfriend at the time, and he was cheating on her with me, which I had no idea. And he did the same thing to me. So again, whatever you start off with is what you're going to end up with. And sure enough, he deceived me, which he had done prior. And so I've learned my lesson that, whatever the way that a man will be with me from the beginning is the way he is going to be. And so always make sure that he's consistent with his words and action. If he tells you he's going to pick you up at 7 o'clock, doesn't call you, doesn't show, or shows up late, he's not consistent. He won't get consistent as you get to know him. He is just going to get worse, and he's going to get lazy. When a man gets lazy, it means he's not really working at the relationship, because that relationship does not mean anything to him, not as much as someone that he'd really be interested in. So again, I knew that my man was interested in me, because not only did he take that relationship to a visual relationship, but he flew to me to prove to me his intentions. So again, it shows me what kind of person he is. And he told me that after we met, that he wanted to pursue this, and he was going to show me, and that we were going to see a lot of each other, and that I was a package deal, and that my children were a package to him. And so, and like I said, he just proved to me everything that he said to me. So again, a man tells you he's going to pick you up and he doesn't, or doesn't even call you or communicate that he'll be late. he's not going to get better, you guys. Just walk away. Find someone that the universe will put in your path, because that's going to be the right guy for you. Don't settle. The minute that you settle, you are going to be doing more work in that relationship than he is. That means you're going to care about him more than he cares about you. And unfortunately, that doesn't work that way. It just will not. So consistency, very important. If he's consistent with you, he respects you. If he tells you, I'll call you at 5 o'clock, at 5 o'clock comes around and he hasn't even given you a phone call, or just to tell you, hey babe, I'm kind of busy and I'm swamped, I'll call you later. At least he takes the time to look at his watch and he's like, I promised her at 5 and I'll call her back, because you're important. If you're not, he gets lazy because you're not important, and you stick around. So he knows no matter how he treats you, you will be there. And that's not a man you want to invest your time with. So it is very hard nowadays to date. Men are very independent. Men are either going through a divorce or they have been divorced. They've been single for so long, and it's hard to change who they are. And you don't want to change them. You want to appreciate them for who they are. But then they get so used to their alone life that if they have to put together and combine their lives with your life, it starts getting tricky, because you're set in your ways and he's set in his ways. So dating isn't easy as it used to be. I'm not saying it was ever easy, but it just seems like there's like a million women for one man. And obviously the men that are still single, especially when they're in their 40s, you wonder what is wrong with him. Like, why is he still single? Now, if he's been cheated on and he's single, well, it's understandable. He's just out of a fresh marriage relationship, and there was issues in the marriage. But oftentimes those men have been single for a while. And then, like I said, they're set in their ways, and it's really hard for them to change or become either a father figure to some other children, or even commit, because they're so used to the dating game and meeting women on a weekly basis online. And if things don't work out, there's the next woman. Just swipe left if you're not interested, swipe right on Tinder if you're interested. So it's kind of like weeding out the right man and the wrong ones. And I'll be honest with you, I've met I've gone on many dates on Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish. I mean, there's so many, Match.com, and I've never actually gone out seriously I've never met a man that I stayed more than a week or two from the online system. It's just the weirdest thing. I've met so many that I've gone on dates, but there's always something that just made me take a few steps back and made me realize that wasn't the one for me. And most of the men that I was committed to, like my ex, I met him in the Bahamas. We dated for 5 years. My ex marriage, I met him in Las Vegas. It's so funny how most of the people that I've ended up in long-term relationship, I did not meet online. But I'm single and I do meet people online, but I can never take it to the next level. For some reason, there's just always something that throws me off, or just something, there's a red flag that tells me that this is not the one. Red flags here, red flags there, and I don't have time to waste. I have 3 beautiful children. I don't have days on end to go dating, so I'll go on one date. If I see it doesn't work out, I just let them know, listen, I'm sorry, it's just not going to work out. I've had some that became obsessive, where they start texting and I block, and before you know it, they're texting from another number and I block, and they're texting from another number, and I'm like, seriously? And then they start looking you up, and it's just like, come on, dude, like, seriously, just grow up, And they're totally obsessed because you're the woman of their dreams and they haven't met you yet. So I've had those lately for some reason. But the good news is, if you put out there in the universe positivity, it would always come back to you. And that's why I don't wish ill to anyone, including my ex-husband. No matter what he did to me, I just wished him good luck, and I know that karma will take care of all that. It is not my problem anymore. I feel absolutely nothing. I'm totally numb when it comes. You kind of numb yourself to negativity and to people that don't appreciate you, and the world will take care of them. You just don't put any effort, whether it's positive or negative. And that's what I've done, and it feels great. You just don't dwell around. You don't dwell on them and just let life do its thing. And I'm like that about everything, money, relationship, and relationship too. No expectation. Take it one day at a time. And again, if you see red flags, run away, ladies. Run away. Too many friends of mine have been single, and I see the pattern. They stay with the person that abuses them. And I'm not saying physically, I'm talking verbally and mentally and emotionally. They talk to them and they're like, I don't have time and you can't understand and blah, blah, blah. And they become needy and they become who they're not supposed to be. And they turn into someone they're not. And then I'm like, why are you sticking around? Because this is abusive. And you just feel like you don't want to be alone. And you hold on to someone that's not for you. And so while they were there for me during my failed marriage, it's funny how I want to be there for them and shake them up and be like, he's not even willing to drive to you. He's not even willing to spend that time with you. Look how he treats you. And they know and they hear me, but they always have excuses. But he's awesome, but he does do this for me, but he does do that, so I have to give him chances. And then a year goes by, they've wasted all that time on someone that just was never really worth it. And when they could have been opened to like that particular love or to that right person. So it angers me because I want to return that favor. I want to be there and be supportive, but yet they just don't have that strength within them to even be alone. Just like look at my ex, he went from one to the other. There was just not even a transition where he needed to reflect on how he needed to be or just what he had done and the hurt and all the damage that he's done to his own family. Well, all that was important is protecting his relationship, because that's what's most important at that point. But 15 years with someone that was dedicated is just thrown away like nothing. And so it goes to show where your priorities are and how important it is to take that time alone to reflect, to think, to find yourself, to appreciate yourself, to grow, and not be scared of being alone, you guys. I mean, I am alone a lot of the time. Sometimes my kids are not here because they're with their dad, and I enjoy that time alone to just reflect, think, build, try to run a business, try to figure out where my life is going, read, and grow. I've always had space between my relationships. Some of them just go from I love you here on Monday and I love you to someone else on Tuesday. Like, where is that doesn't make sense, because they're very insecure. They need that security. They need that admiration. Oh my God, she loves me and I need someone. And a perfect example is my brother. He went from his marriage to someone to when things don't work out, he's already moved on to someone and he needs someone. And you don't need anyone. You just need yourself, because at the end of the day, you die by yourself. Now, of course, you don't want to die alone. You want to have a partner in crime that you're going to share your life with. But it is unhealthy to move from one relationship to another. It just shows how insecure you are, that you need that. You need that person to, pat you on the back and tell you you're wonderful, that someone needs to love you. It's okay to be alone. It's okay. It's okay to grow, and it's okay to take that time to develop your self-worth and to understand yourself. Sometimes we haven't had time to heal from one relationship and we're already jumping in the next one, and you've never healed and you've done so much damage. That's why you need that time alone. And some people don't understand that because they're too insecure. So take that time, ladies. Don't be scared of loneliness. Keep your time busy. Go bicycling, join a bike club. You like to go canoeing, read a book, join a book club. You know what I mean? You like to exercise like I do. I love to go to the gym, meet people that have the same interests. Spend more time with your children when they're not around. Keep yourself busy. Surround yourself with friends. Most of my friends are married. I think I'm the only divorced person in our entire group of friends, and which is fine. They've embraced me. They're there for me. It is what it is. It is not my fault. If somebody tells you that they want to move on, you can't blame yourself for that. That's their growth. That's their life. And at the end of the day, it's always a blessing because it opens doors to new people in your life. And I am at the happiest I've ever been. And I wouldn't have felt this way if I would still stay in this relationship that this person couldn't appreciate me. And so everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And that reason, we don't understand it right there and then. We don't understand why they don't love us. We don't understand why they're not committed. We don't understand why they want to leave us. We don't understand those things. But again, that is their issue, their insecurity. It's their problem. But we are happy. Because you make ourselves happy. It's not about crying for someone that doesn't want you. They don't want you, then let them go. It's okay. They'll find their happiness. And like I said, karma will take care of them. But then it leaves you open. It leaves you vulnerable. And then some wonderful people walk into your life. And then you realize, why the universe made it so you can be single and you can embrace new people in your life. And like I said, I haven't been this happy in so long, and I am so contented. I haven't laughed and I haven't been loved this much in my whole entire life. And I'm happy that the universe has found me a match to make me happy, to make me realize, that there is happiness out there, and there are people that are wonderful, and you just have to open yourself. You have to open yourself to it. You have to open your heart to it, and you have to be receptive. Now, if you're crying over someone that doesn't want you, you are wasting your time. But if you're open and you're positive and you know this is happening for a good reason, keep yourself busy until that person enters your life and proves to you they are the person for you. And now that it's happened to me, I had a long wait. I waited 6 months for that person to enter my life and show me the way. I'm very happy. And if things don't work out, it's okay. It just wasn't meant to be. And I will still be receptive to the love of my life. And if it doesn't happen now, it happens in a year, and that's fine too. I am in no hurry. Like I said, right now we are all healing from this, especially my children. And I always check in with them. Is this making you feel uncomfortable? Do you need mommy to, say this to this person? Are you ready to be introduced to this person? If you don't feel right, you let me know, because you're my priority. I don't care about anybody else but you. And they know how important they mean to me. You prioritize the people in your life, everything else falls into place, because they don't resent you. They don't grow older thinking I wasn't important. I was never important, because they know that they'll always be my number one, and I'll always check in with them and see first if they feel comfortable with my actions. And if they say no, it's fine. Their happiness is first, and then eventually mine will come. But they want to see me happy. They've seen me sad. They've seen me hurt. We've gone through so much together, and we still are. It'll take time, but I can see a little glimpse of hope and a little glimpse of happiness, because they deserve it. They really do. And they didn't get that from, the relationship that I was in prior to this. And so now they're seeing it, and I'm just happy that I can finally bring some happiness in their lives. So with this said, guys, stay positive, love, stay open-minded, and the universe will find you and find you love.